Hi everyone. I just got finished grading your week 1 journals and I wanted to say thank you for sharing your concerns and your anxieties and your thoughts. I appreciated getting to know you a little bit better and hearing what you were worried about and what you were hopeful for. It's always a good reminder to me of the anxieties of being a student and just the uncertainty of what we're going through right now. So I wanted to address one thing that I saw repeatedly mentioned by many of you, and that was the anxiety of sharing your work with others during peer reviews. So we are going to be doing peer reviews in this class, but we are also going to be doing a couple different forms of peer reviews other than just sharing with classmates. So there'll be a couple different versions of editing or revision, if you will. For your first project, I'm asking you to do a self-edit checklist where you go through your work and edit it yourself. That doesn't mean you can't get feedback from other people like Erin or me or the Learning Commons tutors, but for the first project, your primary task will be to do your own self-edit. For project 2, I'm asking you to find someone in your circle, whether that's a family member, a friend, a coworker, to review your work. And that will give you another set of eyes on your work, but it won't have maybe the same stakes as having a classmate look at it. And then for project 3, we are doing an in-class or classroom peer review. And that means that you'll be assigned small groups of people to work with, and you'll be asked to read and comment on each other's work. And the way that's done is I will give you a checklist or a sheet and ask you to focus on specific areas to look for in the other's work. And so since we're doing all of this online, you'll get a draft via discussion board probably of your classmates' work, and you'll have your checklist and you'll make comments about the areas that I ask you to focus on. It is naturally intimidating and anxiety inducing to share our work with others. What we write is the physical manifestation of what's going on in our brain. And we are fearful of being judged for that. We're fearful of looking like we don't know what we're talking about, of not making sense, of using the wrong word, of not knowing grammar properly. And I saw a lot of comments by you about being intimidated about grammar and spelling. And I tried to reply that my teaching philosophy and a lot of the instructors that I work with, we believe that you're not going to be a better writer by focusing primarily on your grammar and your spelling. Those, if I'm being honest, are not the most fun parts of writing anyway, and they're minor in compared to the content or the ideas that you write about. So try to focus before you let that negative Nancy in your head tell you that you're doing it wrong. Try to focus on getting the words on paper, getting the ideas on paper. I often feel like I don't know what I want to write about until I sit down and write it. And it takes me a while of writing, coming back to it, thinking about it, pacing around before I get some idea of structure of what I'm doing. So don't focus on your screw ups. Don't focus on, I don't know how to spell this, or I think I used there incorrectly. Focus on the content first. And I usually start with a body paragraph. If I try too hard to write the perfect intro right away, I don't often know what I'm writing about until I've written some of my paper. So I start with the body paragraph, and then I kind of get an idea of, oh, this is the direction I'm taking. And then later, usually a couple days later, I can go back and add an intro of some sort. So you will be sharing your work with classmates eventually, but not for all of your projects and not for all of your writing. And I'm hopeful that the checklist that I provide you to give that feedback set some boundaries for what we can and cannot say to each other. And I always remind you that write feedback that you would want to receive. That is not to say that you should say everything's great and it looks perfect and you don't need to change anything, but you are giving your classmates valuable criticism or constructive criticism on areas that can be improved. And one of the ways, even though it can sometimes sting to improve, is to be shown where our weaknesses are. And maybe it's just a matter of, oh, you repeated this phrase a few too many times, or I'm not sure what I see in point 3, how that's connected to your thesis, or I think you need to do something a little more attention getting in your introduction. It can be simple things like that that can help your writing be better. And even though you're in an English comp class and you're writing essays on topics that I have selected for you, you will be writing in other classes as well, and you'll be asked to write it in a structured manner and to consider your audience. And so those are all the the backbones to becoming better, stronger writers. So I can't alleviate all the anxiety and stress that comes with writing and with sharing that writing with others, but I hope the parameters that we set for it helps to alleviate some of that stress. And know too that you can always get some feedback from Erin or myself, or you can work with the Learning Commons tutors to get feedback from them, or just get some ideas on paper. We're all here to help you. So I hope that helps reduce some of that anxiety about sharing your work with other people. Thanks, guys.